Pope Francis meeting with members of the Foreign Press Association today, stressing the importance of a free...
Other people of goodwill, they are likewise concerned.
In a striking declaration, Pope Francis has sparked global debate by claiming that the Ethiopian Bible holds hidden truths about Christianity, challenging long-standing narratives in mainstream religious thought. According to the Pope, this ancient text proves we've been misled about Christianity, prompting a re-evaluation of the faith's origins and its evolution over centuries. The Ethiopian Bible, with its unique scriptures, offers a perspective that diverges from the Western canon, raising critical questions about the texts excluded from the Bible we know today. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into this controversial revelation. Pope Francis's call for a more inclusive Christianity. Pope Francis's recent call to engage with the Ethiopian Bible is not simply an academic invitation. It's a bold and transformative call for spiritual renewal. In a world where Christianity often feels fragmented and divided, the Pope is urging Christians to reconsider how the faith has been understood throughout history, particularly with regard to the texts and perspectives that have been marginalized or excluded from the traditional Western canon. For centuries, mainstream Christianity has been shaped by the Roman Catholic and Protestant canons, which largely reflect the theological and cultural developments of the Greek and Latin traditions. However, Pope Francis is pointing us toward an alternative Christian tradition, one that offers a more inclusive and diverse understanding of the faith: the Ethiopian Bible. The Ethiopian Bible represents an ancient and largely overlooked branch of Christianity that developed in isolation from Western Christianity. While the Roman Empire and its successors were defining Christian orthodoxy in Europe, Ethiopia embraced Christianity early on and preserved a set of ancient texts that were never included in the Western canon. These texts, many of which are still read today in Ethiopian churches, provide a richer, more complex view of early Christian theology, one that challenges the dominant narratives of the faith as shaped by Western traditions. For much of Christian history, doctrine and tradition have been shaped by a narrow set of texts, primarily those written in Greek and Latin, while ancient manuscripts from Africa and the East have been sidelined or ignored. Pope Francis's appeal to engage with the Ethiopian Bible serves as a reminder that Christian history is far more diverse than many believe. By embracing the 84 books found in the Ethiopian Bible, many of which are not included in the Western canon, believers can uncover a broader understanding of early Christianity that has been lost to time. The Ethiopian Bible is not just a collection of forgotten scriptures. It is a powerful testimony to the diversity and complexity of the early Christian tradition. Books like the Book of Enoch, Jubilees, and the Testament of the 12 Patriarchs offer alternative perspectives on key theological themes such as sin, salvation, and divine mercy. These texts were highly regarded by early Christian communities but were excluded from the Western Bible, leaving a gaping hole in our understanding of the faith's early development. Pope Francis's call is more than an intellectual exercise. It is an invitation to rediscover the original diversity of the Christian message. It is an invitation to reimagine Christianity in a way that is more inclusive, less exclusive, and reflective of the early complexity of the faith. One that does not prioritize one tradition over others, but embraces the fullness of Christianity's many paths. By exploring the Ethiopian Bible, Christians can reclaim a broader, deeper vision of their faith and reconnect with the ancient truths that have long been hidden from view. Could the Christianity we've known for centuries be missing critical pieces? Pope Francis thinks there's a hidden version of Christianity that could change everything. Let's dive deeper on what the Ethiopian Bible has to offer. The Ethiopian Bible's broader canon. One of the most striking features of the Ethiopian Bible is its broader canon, which includes 84 books, significantly more than the 66 books found in most Western Christian Bibles. This expanded canon is not merely a matter of quantity. It reveals a deeper, richer tradition of Christianity that includes texts once highly regarded by early Christian communities, but eventually excluded from the Roman Catholic, Protestant, and Eastern Orthodox canons. These additional writings provide alternative theological perspectives and shed light on aspects of Christian thought that have been largely ignored or suppressed by later Christian traditions. Pope Francis, in his calls for greater engagement with the Ethiopian Christian tradition, has highlighted the importance of these additional texts. While the Western Church focused primarily on a smaller set of writings, the Ethiopian Church preserved a broader collection that includes many early Christian texts with unique insights into theology, morality, and the nature of salvation. By engaging with these writings, believers can explore a more diverse and nuanced understanding of the Christian faith, one that has often been overlooked by more mainstream traditions. The inclusion of these 84 books is not simply an expansion of content. It serves as a testament to the diversity of early Christian thought and offers an alternative narrative to the canonical texts that have traditionally shaped Christianity in the West. Through these texts, the Ethiopian Bible offers a glimpse into a Christian tradition that, while similar in many ways to Western Christianity, also holds distinct theological and cultural beliefs. The preservation of these books, many of which were excluded from the Western canon, allows the Ethiopian Church to safeguard a tradition that dates back to the very origins of the faith. Perhaps the most notable and fascinating of these additional texts is the Book of Enoch. This ancient text, which was considered canonical by early Christian fathers such as Tertullian and Origen, offers a profound narrative that is radically different from the traditional biblical story of creation and the origin of sin. The Book of Enoch tells the story of the Watchers, a group of angels who descend to earth and interact with humanity in sinful ways. These angels teach humans forbidden knowledge and engage in actions that corrupt both humanity and the natural world. The Watchers' rebellion and their subsequent punishment is portrayed as the root cause of evil, giving the origin of sin a cosmic dimension that is often overlooked in the traditional Genesis narrative, which focuses on human disobedience through Adam and Eve's fall. In contrast to the traditional Christian view that sin originated from human choice alone, the Book of Enoch introduces the idea that celestial beings played a pivotal role in the corruption of the world. This raises theological questions about the nature of evil. Is it purely a human failing, or do other forces in the universe contribute to the world's brokenness? By placing much of the blame for humanity's fall on the interference of angels, the text invites readers to consider a more complex view of sin and evil, one that includes cosmic forces as central actors in the human story. The Book of Enoch challenges the Augustinian doctrine of original sin, which emphasizes human disobedience as the primary cause of evil. Instead, it points to the role of supernatural beings in shaping human history. For those seeking a more intricate theological framework, Enoch offers a rich interpretation of sin, its causes, and its effects on both humanity and the cosmos. Another significant text included in the Ethiopian Bible is the Testament of the 12 Patriarchs. This work is a collection of moral teachings attributed to the 12 sons of Jacob, providing ethical insights into the virtues and sins that characterize the lives of the patriarchs. These teachings offer profound reflections on human nature, virtue, and the moral dimensions of the Christian life. The Testament of the 12 Patriarchs focuses on key ethical themes such as humility, repentance, and charity, while also offering insights into the coming of the Messiah. These writings shed light on the ways early Jewish and Christian communities understood their relationship with God and their responsibility to live righteous lives. The Testament is notable for its focus on ethical living, suggesting that moral purity and adherence to divine law are central to the faithful's relationship with God. The text also emphasizes the messianic hope that pervaded early Christian and Jewish thought. The 12 Patriarchs foretell the coming of a Redeemer who would deliver Israel and bring justice to the world. This expectation of a Messiah reflects the deep connection between Jewish and early Christian hopes for salvation, and it serves as a reminder that the Christian concept of Christ was deeply rooted in Jewish tradition. The ethical teachings found in the Testament are not only historical curiosities, but remain relevant today. They provide valuable lessons on how to live a life that is pleasing to God, emphasizing virtues like compassion, humility, and obedience to God's will. For early Christians, these teachings were essential to shaping their identity as the people of God and preparing them for the fulfillment of the messianic promise. The Book of Jubilees, also known as the Lesser Genesis, is another important text included in the Ethiopian Bible. This work offers a retelling of biblical history with an emphasis on chronology and the lives of the patriarchs. By focusing on the timing and order of events, The Book of Jubilees reinterprets key moments in the Genesis narrative, such as the creation of the world, the story of Adam and Eve, and the covenant with Noah. The Book of Jubilees also provides a distinct understanding of ritual purity and covenant. It stresses the importance of obedience to God's law, particularly in relation to the covenant established with Abraham and Moses. The book is deeply concerned with preserving the purity of God's people and ensuring that they remain faithful to His commands. This focus on divine law aligns closely with the ethical teachings of the Testament of the 12 Patriarchs, which emphasizes moral living and obedience to God's will. The influence of the Book of Jubilees can be seen in its emphasis on the importance of rituals and the purification of God's people, which would later be reflected in various aspects of Jewish and Christian worship. The book's focus on chronology and sacred time suggests a view of history in which every event is part of a divine plan, a perspective that encourages believers to see their lives as part of a larger cosmic story. The Ethiopian Bible's collection of 84 books is not simply an expanded edition of the Western canon. It represents a preserved archive of early Christian thought and tradition. Many of these books were once central to the theological discourse of early Christianity, but were excluded from later Western canons due to theological disagreements, political concerns, or the consolidation of power within the Roman Empire. By including these texts in its canon, the Ethiopian Church has preserved a unique tradition of Christian thought that offers new perspectives on issues such as sin, salvation, and the nature of God. These writings were highly regarded in early Christian communities, and their inclusion in the Ethiopian Bible serves as a reminder that early Christianity was not a monolithic tradition. Rather, it was a faith shaped by diverse theological voices, each offering unique interpretations of the Bible and the nature of salvation. In contrast to the Western Church, which gradually narrowed the canon to a smaller collection of texts, the Ethiopian Church has maintained a broader and more inclusive approach to the Christian tradition. By engaging with the lost books of the Ethiopian Bible, Christians today can gain a deeper understanding of the origins of their faith and reconnect with the rich diversity of early Christian thought. These books challenge us to reconsider what we know about the Christian story and to explore the profound theological insights that have been overlooked or ignored for centuries. What if everything we know about Christianity is just a fraction of the whole story? The Ethiopian Bible contains lost books that could change our understanding of sin, salvation, and faith itself. These forgotten scriptures offer radical new insights and perspectives that challenge traditional beliefs. Let's explore these ancient texts and unveil a whole new understanding of Christianity. Theological insights and new perspectives. One of the most profound and thought-provoking theological elements in the Ethiopian Bible is its unique portrayal of the Watchers, a group of fallen angels who descend to earth and engage in actions that lead to the corruption of humanity. This narrative, particularly found in the Book of Enoch, offers a radical reinterpretation of the origin of sin and introduces an alternative perspective that significantly departs from the more traditional Genesis account. While the Genesis narrative centers on human free will and the disobedience of Adam and Eve, the Ethiopian tradition sheds light on the role of celestial beings in the fall of humanity, offering a fresh understanding of the dynamics of sin and evil. The Book of Enoch presents the Watchers as celestial beings who, unlike the traditional angels, fall from grace by descending to earth and taking part in forbidden interactions with human beings. Their descent is not merely a tale of rebellion, but an active and deliberate effort to introduce forbidden knowledge and influence human beings in ways that lead to the corruption of humankind and the earth itself. The Watchers are said to have taught humanity about forbidden arts and practices, particularly those related to cosmic knowledge, sorcery, and secrets of heaven, which results in the degradation of the natural world and the very fabric of creation. This version of events introduces a cosmic conflict that goes beyond the simple issue of human disobedience to God's commands. According to this view, sin is not just the product of human free will, as traditional theology often suggests, but the direct result of divine interference. The Watchers' actions introduce a new layer of complexity to the origin of sin, opening up a deeper discussion about the interplay between human responsibility and celestial forces. In contrast to the Augustinian framework of original sin, which posits that humanity's fall is solely the result of Adam and Eve's disobedience, the Ethiopian account suggests that the world's corruption is not only the result of human action, but also the interference of beings from another realm. This interpretation of sin introduces an intriguing theological question. Is evil simply a product of human free will, or do external cosmic forces play a role in shaping human sin and moral decay? In the Ethiopian view, the role of the Watchers complicates the conventional narrative, highlighting that evil is not merely a moral failure of human beings, but is also influenced by supernatural, cosmic forces. The Watchers' rebellion and their subsequent teachings pollute not only human nature, but the very foundation of the world itself, affecting both humanity and the natural world. This idea is revolutionary because it suggests that sin has a cosmic dimension, one that goes beyond human actions and choices to involve a larger spiritual battle in which heavenly beings themselves are implicated. Pope Francis has highlighted how this interpretation of sin found in the Ethiopian Bible challenges the traditional Augustinian view of original sin. In the Augustinian doctrine, humanity's fall is almost entirely attributed to the act of human disobedience. But in the Enochian account, the interference of celestial beings, particularly those who transgress divine boundaries and engage with humanity in forbidden ways, complicates this narrative. According to this alternative perspective, the fall is not merely a result of human choice, but a cosmic event that involves heavenly agents who contribute to the corruption of the world. This nuanced interpretation challenges the simplicity of the Augustinian model, which focuses primarily on human disobedience as the sole cause of evil in the world. In contrast, the Ethiopian Bible presents an understanding of sin as a more complex, multifaceted phenomenon involving both human choices and the actions of celestial beings who alter the course of human history. The Watchers, then, represent the agents of corruption whose actions bring about the moral decay of humanity and the contamination of creation itself. The theological implications of the Watchers' actions extend beyond just their influence on humanity. According to the Book of Enoch, the sin of the Watchers results in a contamination of the natural world, something that is not found in the traditional Genesis account. The Watchers' rebellion has far-reaching effects, not just on human beings, but on the entire cosmos. Their teachings introduce practices that distort the natural order and lead to chaos and destruction, both in the spiritual realm and the physical world. This presents a more holistic view of evil, one that is not confined to human nature alone, but is embedded in the very structure of creation. The Book of Enoch underscores the idea that evil is not just human. It is a cosmic disorder that touches everything. The celestial rebellion is seen as a pivotal moment in history, one that disrupts the balance between heaven and earth, introducing a corruption that is far more profound and far-reaching than mere human disobedience. Thus, the Ethiopian Bible's version of sin implies that humanity's moral decay is a consequence of both human choice and celestial transgression, and this dual source of evil complicates the way we understand the nature of sin. If sin is not merely a product of human free will, but also a result of cosmic rebellion and divine interference, it opens up new questions about free will, responsibility, and the role of divine intervention in the unfolding of history. Angels caused sin. Salvation for everyone, not just a chosen few. The Ethiopian Bible contains profound theological insights that challenge traditional Christian views. Ready to challenge everything you thought you knew? Time to uncover these revelations. Alongside its radical reinterpretation of sin, the Ethiopian Bible also offers a fresh perspective on salvation, one that is markedly more inclusive than many Western theological frameworks. Ethiopian Christianity teaches that God's grace is not reserved for a select few, but is available to all people. This stands in stark contrast to certain Western traditions, which sometimes emphasize that salvation is only accessible to those who adhere to a specific set of beliefs, rituals, or practices. Instead, the Ethiopian view emphasizes that God's mercy and grace are universal and extend to all of humanity. Salvation is not confined to a particular group of people or those who meet certain religious requirements, but is available to everyone. This more inclusive understanding of salvation echoes the broader vision of Christian unity that Pope Francis has consistently championed during his papacy. By focusing on the universality of salvation, Ethiopian theology offers a vision of Christianity that emphasizes compassion, mercy, and inclusivity, contrasting with theological perspectives that stress exclusivity or doctrinal purity. This inclusive approach reflects a commitment to the universal reach of God's love, a principle that invites all people into a relationship with the divine, regardless of their background or status. In this way, the Ethiopian Bible provides a profound theological challenge to traditional Christian ideas about salvation, inviting Christians to reconsider notions of exclusivity and to embrace a more inclusive and gracious vision of God's mercy. What if the profound theological insights of the Ethiopian Bible are mirrored in its breathtaking artistry? Let's explore how the deep spiritual messages of these ancient texts come to life through stunning illustrations, creating a powerful fusion of faith and art. The artistry of the Ethiopian Bible. The Ethiopian Bible is not only a theological and historical treasure, but also a profound work of art that reflects the deep spirituality of Ethiopian Christianity. Unlike many Western Christian traditions that emphasize the written word, Ethiopian Christianity has maintained a strong connection between art and theology. In Ethiopia, religious art is not merely decorative, it is an essential means of spiritual worship and a tool to engage with the divine. Ethiopian religious art is highly symbolic, especially in its depictions of biblical figures, saints, and scenes from Christ's life. These artistic choices are not just about visual appeal, but serve as a window into the spiritual realm, conveying deeper theological truths. A prominent feature of Ethiopian art is the portrayal of human figures with large eyes and elongated faces. These features are symbolic, with the large eyes representing the ability to perceive the divine and the elongated faces conveying the otherworldly nature of the figures, suggesting their closeness to God. The figures are intentionally portrayed as ethereal, existing beyond the limitations of human experience. This sense of otherworldliness underscores a key theological point. The depicted figures are representations of divine beings and holy figures, not bound by the material world. The use of vibrant colors in Ethiopian religious art, such as reds, yellows, blues, and greens, symbolizes the radiance of holiness and the mystical light of the divine. These colors elevate the scenes depicted in art, making them appear beyond ordinary life. Intricate patterns and elaborate borders in manuscripts and icons symbolize the interconnectedness of all things in creation, suggesting the unity between the earthly and the heavenly realms. In Ethiopia, religious icons and manuscripts are considered sacred objects. Manuscripts are often handwritten, and the vibrant colors, gold leaf, and illustrations serve not only to beautify but to deepen the spiritual experience of the text. These manuscripts are visual and spiritual expressions of the divine. Each page is designed to invite the reader into deeper contemplation and connection with God. Icons, too, are seen as windows into heaven, not just representations of saints or biblical figures. The viewer's attention is drawn away from the material image and toward the divine presence that the icon is believed to embody. This belief highlights the role of art in Ethiopian Christianity as a mediator between the human and the divine, providing a direct spiritual connection for the viewer. Ethiopian religious art is intended to engage worshippers with the mystical aspects of the faith. The vibrant colors and symbolic motifs provoke emotional and spiritual responses, inviting worshippers to contemplate the divine mysteries. The artwork becomes an active, immersive experience that allows believers to encounter the holy in a tangible way. For Ethiopian Christians, the artwork is not simply a depiction of the biblical narrative, but a living expression of the divine. The Ethiopian Bible, with its manuscripts, icons, and murals, transforms the text into a living document that invites the faithful into a deeper, more sensory, spiritual experience. The visual elements of the Bible become portals into the divine, connecting the believer to God beyond the written word. In Ethiopia, where literacy rates were historically low, religious art played an essential didactic role. Icons and manuscripts served as a means of conveying the biblical narrative to those who could not read. Through visual depictions of key biblical events like the creation, life of Christ, and the Passion narrative, the artwork communicated the central tenets of the faith. These images functioned as teaching tools, used for evangelism and catechesis, enabling the church to educate and spiritually guide the faithful. In Ethiopia, religious art is not just an aesthetic expression of faith, but an immersive spiritual experience. The connection between art and theology is profound. Art is seen as a tool to help believers experience God's presence. The Ethiopian Bible becomes more than a text. It transforms into a living experience that invites the faithful to encounter the sacred through sight, touch, and meditation. The vibrant art in the form of manuscripts, icons, and murals allows Ethiopian Christians to encounter the divine in a tangible, direct way, offering an experience that goes beyond intellectual understanding. Thus, the artistry of the Ethiopian Bible is integral to the way the faithful connect with the divine, experience the mysteries of Christianity, and live out their faith. It becomes a vital bridge between the written word and spiritual encounter, offering a holistic experience of worship that engages both mind and heart. Through its rich artistic traditions, the Ethiopian Bible is a living testament to the power of art in shaping and deepening the spiritual life. What if the stunning artistry of the Ethiopian Bible is not just a visual masterpiece, but also a window into its ancient origins? Keep watching to uncover how these beautifully crafted pages hold clues to the Bible's deep historical roots and the culture that shaped it. The Ethiopian Bible's ancient origins. The Ethiopian Bible is one of the oldest and most significant Christian texts still in existence, with roots tracing back to the 4th century, decades before the Council of Nicaea and the establishment of the Western Christian canon. Ethiopia's early embrace of Christianity, beginning with the mission of Frumentius around 330 AD, makes it one of the first nations to officially adopt the faith, long before Christianity spread throughout Europe. Among the oldest surviving manuscripts is the Garima Bible, believed to date from the 5th to 6th century. Housed in the Garima monastery, this manuscript stands as a remarkable relic of Ethiopian Christian heritage. Surviving wars, invasions, and devastating fires, the Garima Bible represents not only the tenacity of Ethiopian Christianity, but also its deep spiritual and cultural roots. As one of the earliest surviving examples of Ethiopian Christian literature, it offers invaluable insights into the development of Christianity in a region that was geographically and culturally isolated from the Roman Empire. The preservation of the Garima Bible is a testament to the resilience of Ethiopia's Christian heritage. It has withstood the test of time, offering a rare glimpse into the early formation of Christian traditions that predates many of the theological debates and creeds that shaped Western Christianity. The manuscript's survival amidst numerous historical challenges speaks to the Ethiopian Church's commitment to safeguarding its sacred texts and spiritual practices, despite external pressures and conflicts. This remarkable preservation underscores the enduring significance of the Ethiopian Bible, not just as a religious document, but also as a cultural and historical treasure. It remains a living testament to the ancient roots of Christianity in Ethiopia, providing scholars with a direct connection to a faith tradition that is both ancient and uniquely distinct from the Western Christian experience. Rediscovering Christianity's richness. The Ethiopian Bible is not just an ancient text, it is a profound window into the early, diverse, and richly textured Christian faith. With its expanded canon, which includes 84 books, it offers a broader theological perspective than the typical Western Bible. These additional texts, like the Book of Enoch, Testament of the 12 Patriarchs, and Book of Jubilees, provide deeper insights into key themes such as sin, salvation, and the nature of God, inviting Christians to reconsider long-held assumptions about Christian doctrine. Pope Francis has long advocated for a more inclusive and holistic understanding of Christianity, and the Ethiopian Bible aligns with this vision. By highlighting the faith's diversity and the theological pluralism seen in early Christianity, Pope Francis calls on Christians to reconnect with a Christianity that embraces both mystical experiences and intellectual reflection. He sees the Ethiopian Bible as proof that Christianity is richer and more inclusive than we've been led to believe, offering a faith that is more open, universal, and spiritually deep than the one often presented by Western traditions. The Ethiopian Bible also stands out for its artistic richness. Ethiopian Christian art found in manuscripts, icons, and murals plays a vital role in conveying the divine. This art is not just aesthetic, it serves as a spiritual tool, helping believers experience the sacred in a deeply immersive way. The vibrant colors and symbolic figures draw Christians into the mysteries of the divine, turning scripture into a living, engaging experience. Through its expanded canon and rich art, the Ethiopian Bible invites believers to rethink the essence of Christianity. Pope Francis encourages the global church to explore this tradition, seeing in it a more profound and inclusive vision of the faith that has much to teach the modern world. Are you ready to rediscover the forgotten parts of Christianity? The Ethiopian Bible awaits. Dive deep into its ancient wisdom and explore a richer, more inclusive faith. If you enjoyed this journey, give us a thumbs up, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more thought-provoking content you won't want to miss.